Hello, my name is David Haigh. I'm the Chairman and CEO of Brand Finance PLC, the world's leading brand valuation firm. And we have just published the Brand Finance India 100 for 2022, valuing India's top brands. And I'm pleased to announce that Tata is the world's most valuable Indian brand, with a brand value this year of $23.9 billion US. Tata has maintained its leading position in the Indian ranking since 2014, recognizing its long history of business in India. To celebrate this fantastic achievement, I'm joined by Natarajan Chandrasekaran, the chairman of Tata Sons, who also has been leading the company for 5 years and will be here to explain exactly how things are changing within Tata. So let me start. Chandra, very kind of you to be with us. Hello. Let me start with the first question. First of all, congratulations on Tata being ranked again as the #1 brand in India. And TCS is the most valuable IT services and Taj is the strongest India brands. In fact, since you took over as chairman in 2017, the Tata brand has gained $10 billion in value, so that it's gone from 13 to 24 billion approximately. What do you feel has worked well for the business when you reflect back over the last 5 years as chairman? What has driven that growth?
First of all, thank you, David. It's such a pleasure and honor to be with you today. And also very glad to hear about the ranking this year. The last 5 years at the Tata Group has been a big transformational journey. We have been simplifying our businesses. We have been synergizing between the group companies. And also we are identifying areas we need to scale. We have been doing all of this across the group. And this has yielded significant business performance across all our group companies in terms of strong balance sheets, strong P&L, profit growth, cash flows, as well as good recognition by the market in terms of the market capitalization. And we have been practically doing 3 things. One, I call it strengthening our core businesses, which have been there for a very long time, some of them more than 100 years, Tata Steel, Tata Motors, Tata Power, and many of the other companies. We have been strengthening those companies. Second, we are transforming all those companies for the future in terms of digitalization, in terms of sustainability, in terms of supply chain. We can talk about that. And also we use the opportunity to create new businesses, which are businesses of the future. We have been working on all the 3 planks, and I must say that the teams have done a terrific job, and collectively we have done well.
Before I ask the second question, I've got a question of my own, which I'm going to interject here. And it's really about the wide scale of the Tata business, because Tata, like many Indian conglomerates, has gone into many different areas. You talked about simplifying and rationalizing the business, but it's still quite widely spread. I mean, would you like to comment on how easy it is to actually simplify when there are so many great business opportunities presenting themselves?
See, simplification can mean many things. Simplification does not mean reducing the portfolio. Simplification means that removing the complexity in the way that businesses are run. So in many businesses where we have had a history of several decades, 40 years, 60 years, 80 years, and so on, there is complexity, because with history comes complexity in terms of the markets we operate, in terms of the products and services, in terms of subsidiaries that we have, in terms of alliances we have, so multiple levels of complexity. What we have done is to simplify those complexities, to say that every business has to be very, very focused in certain core areas and drive the growth in those areas.
I mean, I was reading a bit about the Tata Super app, which presumably will kind of bind all these various different businesses together and make it a logical access point for services from Tata. Could you just comment briefly on how that will work? And is that challenging the likes of Amazon or what?
See, everybody has to play to their context. Tata Group has one of the largest consumer portfolios. We are in multiple consumer areas, categories. We are in electronics, we are in fashion, we are in apparel, we are in jewelry, we are in watches, we are in airlines, we are in hotels. I mean, you can keep adding to the list. We are in power distribution, we are in insurance, we are in financial services. So we are very, very consumer-centric businesses. And depending upon how you look at it, we touch anywhere from 100 million to 600, 700 million consumers in the country. The idea is to bring it all together into one single platform so that we can leverage our presence across multiple categories and also offer to our consumers the benefit of synergy, create one single loyalty program. We call this Tata New. We created a concept of New Pass, New Coins, which are a way to bring the customers into a single platform and give them the benefit of being part of the Tata ecosystem. And we have launched it. The reception has been fantastic, but we have many, many more categories to come.
It's interesting, actually, because I believe that you said that artificial intelligence and data analytics and profiling the information available is one of the ways that you will actually drive greater performance, and presumably that applies also to the app. How does the brand reassure people that that is actually going to help them in their lives and that they will trust you to have all their information on there to be sold things?
See, the fundamental value proposition is to simplify the life of the consumer, because we can get many things done in the super app, and the super app will continue to expand in terms of the number of categories, the products and services and the solutions that it will offer. The initial categories is electronics, food and grocery, pharmacy, and we have hotels, airlines, and fashion, but we are adding a number of new categories and a big play in financial services. The whole idea is to be able to offer the products, services, and the solutions that will enable a much simpler way to get things done on a daily basis for the consumer. And our brand is known for trust. We will continue to enhance trust by being super transparent with the consumer, while the consumer has the ability to do everything in the super app over a period of time. The Tata New will be super transparent.
Well, I must say that we've been following you for years, and the thing which always strikes one about Tata is it produces good quality things in a very trustworthy manner and delivers them to customers in various different markets, because that seems to make sense out of the Tata proposition, that you can deliver things in many different sectors. I'd be interested to know how you think that you disseminate the brand so that everyone knows you're as good in all sectors and in all the foreign markets you're in.
I think the Tata brand in India is extremely well known. As you know, it's the most trusted brand. And we have used several techniques in other markets. For example, when I was running TCS, I kind of got on to sponsoring marathons, which did extremely well initially in Amsterdam, then later on in New York. And then now we are globally present in many prestigious marathons in different parts of the world. And that has really enhanced the TCS brand and the Tata brand in those markets. One is the trust factor. The second one is also how we promote wellness. It's a key message. Jaguar is promoting sustainability in a big way, along with TCS in the e-car racing, as you know. And Tata Steel does it in many ways, has used sports as a tool. Recently, we also became a title sponsor for IPL. Cricket is a real magnetic sport, not only in India and many other countries. It has got billions of followers around the globe. certainly India and the continent and Australia and England and South Africa and few other places. So we're using all of this as a mechanism to continue to reinforce the brand.
Yes, in fact, the whole question of sports sponsorship was going to be my next question. And as you say, there's marathons, there's Formula E, there's football, there's chess, and IPL. Does that mean that you think sport is a much better way of communicating and gaining the loyalty and attention of customers? And how is the IPL investment going? Is that going well?
The IPL investment has gone exceedingly well. I think we've got a lot of traction, and it's making an impact. I think if you come to the stadium, you will really see it, the presence of the brand. Also, we see it in the analytics that we do based on the IPL viewership and its connections to the Super App and to some of our other companies like Tata Motors, the new vehicles that we have launched, the Punch, which is a SUV that is very, very strong currently in the Indian market. So we see the results certainly in all the analytics that we do. So IPL sponsorship has gone very well. Sports is definitely one important medium, and it's not the only medium, but sports definitely works. And also I feel that the themes that we are able to promote, like sustainability in the case of the e-car racing and health in the marathons, they all go down extremely well with consumers, especially younger consumers.
So just talking about health and so on, and ESG and climate change are sort of connected to that. It's becoming a very important part of many brand purposes. You've always been a very socially responsible group. That's always been the standout with Tata ever since I first came across you and began to learn more and more about Tata. So I'd be interested to know what your strategy is on that front, if there is a strategy, or is it just a continuation of what you've done for the last 100 years, and how you see it spanning different parts of the business.
Needless to say, David, sustainability is one of the most critical transformations and transitions businesses, countries, and communities have to make in the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. It's going to be a very, very significant transition. At the group, we have seen this as a big opportunity, and we have pivoted our core businesses to make this transition by integrating sustainability into the core of the business. For example, in Tata Power, we have stopped investments in the coal-based power plants and focused significantly towards renewable energy. We have currently 3-4 gigawatts, and we will be 15 gigawatts by 2025. And probably by 2030, 80% of our energy will be renewable energy. Also, we are into solar rooftops, solar pumps by focusing on the consumer based power requirements. Mm-hmm. Similarly, in Tata Motors, we have pivoted towards electric vehicles in India. And even in the commercial vehicles, we have launched our first electric truck. And we are looking at fuel cell, hydrogen-based buses in the commercial arena. And Jaguar Land Rover has a strategy to go fully electric in their Jaguar portfolio from 2025, and will have more than 60% of all vehicles by 2030 in the electric portfolio. We are into carbon capture. We are into biodiversity. We are into water neutrality. So we are focusing on sustainability from multiple angles. We have a very strong plan across the group, company by company, which has all been integrated with Tata Group level plan.
Without casting stones at other companies, it seems that in the last few years there has been a stampede towards purpose washing, shall we say. You know, many companies are now adopting purpose because they feel they have to, and quite often you look at it and think, well, it's not really genuine. It's just doing what they feel they have to. Do you think that's a thing, or One of the standouts about Tata is it's always been very genuine and has been for a long time. You know, giving back to society, for example, has been a theme for 100 years and more, hasn't it? Do you think there's a problem with people crowding out the space with false claims?
I don't want to comment on that, but actually, if you see our group, it has been focused on sustainability when the word was not known. Our focus on biodiversity has been there 100 years ago. And our focus on sustainability in terms of community services to ensure that in every community in which we operate, people get the support of the company, whatever is needed, whether it is in healthcare, whether it is in livelihoods, whether it is in addressing their malnutrition, etc. We have been at it for several decades. The Group Sustainability Council was set up by Ratan Tata in 2007. So we have been having a formal governance mechanism to drive sustainability by having a Tata Sustainability Group, and which is the group center. Also, what is called as the Group Sustainability Council, which has all the CEOs as a forum since 2007. So we have been at it. Now what we are trying to do is to accelerate that journey with a lot of metrics, with science-based targeting, and bring a holistic manner, because there is a lot of technological improvements that are coming through. And so we've got to be looking at all of that.
Focusing on the aviation sector, where I know that Tata was very involved in setting up Air India in 1932 and is now back in ownership of Air India. You've also invested in Vistara. And I'm very interested to hear about the overall strategy for the aviation sector, including for the brand.
So we have 4 airline companies now. We have Air India. Air India also has a low-cost airline called Air India Express. Then we have a low-cost airline called Air Asia, which is a joint venture between the Tata Group and Air Asia in Malaysia. And then we have Vistara, which is a full services carrier, a joint venture between the Tata Group and Singapore Airlines. We have already said that Air Asia will be merged with Air India Express so that it will have one single low-cost carrier. And as of now, we will have Air India and Air India Express, which is one entity. Air India Express is a fully owned subsidiary of Air India. Then we have Vistara as a full services airline. Our plan is to keep Air India as a brand. It's a very iconic brand, but over the years, it has lost its luster, if you will. And we will bring it back. We want to make this as a world-class airline. We want this to be the most technologically advanced airline. We're working on a plan. And Vistara for now continues to be a joint venture with Singapore Airlines. If both Tatas and Singapore Airlines agree, then it can merge with Air India at some point. Otherwise, we will run it as 2 airlines.
So do you think the presence of the Tata brand within the group will be behind the scenes or communicated to consumers?
Everyone knows in India, Air India is a Tata company. It's absolutely well known. So the whole market is rooting for our success. So we are very humbled. And we will be linking Air India into the Tata Super app later this year. Post-September, we are already working on the plans. So it will be an integral part of the Tata portfolio, absolutely. Air India is 100% owned by the Tata Group now. So we will integrate it very, very tightly. So Tata presence will be absolutely visible, but the brand will continue to be Air India.
So earlier this year, our brand guardianship index, where we measure the strength of CEOs as brand guardians, put you in the top 25 CEOs in the world. What, in your view, should a CEO's top priority be in relation to the brand, particularly in the current state of the world after the pandemic and with all the geopolitical challenges that are going on right now?
First of all, I'm very, very pleased and humbled, David, that I get named in the top 25. It's a huge honor and a huge responsibility. And to my mind, the brand purpose should be absolutely protected. That's the single most priority for us, the trust that the consumers have on the Tata brand should be reflected in everything we do, in terms of our social responsibility, in terms of the quality of products, quality of services, in the way we treat our employees, in our customer centricity. It's a 360-degree responsibility. And to my mind, that's the single thing that we need to do to continue to protect the brand positioning. And there are many ways we can expand our reach to the consumers, whether through sports or through other mechanisms. But fundamentally, we have to live the brand every single day, and we have to live it better every single day than the previous.
So just as a rider to that question, I mean, you've been chairman for 5 years. What do you think will happen over the next 5 years with the Tata brand?
See, we are definitely, on the one hand, driving our business performance. It's not only in terms of financial results, but also in terms of addressing the 5 megatrends, which we have named digital, which basically focuses on artificial intelligence and data. I've gone on record saying that every business is AI business and a data business. No sector can escape that. Second, every business has to lead in sustainability and lead with sustainability. So it has to be integrated into the business strategy, the DNA of our business model. So we have to make that transition. Third, we need to be resilient in our supply chains because we operate in a global world, in global markets, and all our products and services require global sourcing. We need to have redundancy in our supply chain and self-reliance in our supply chain where it's called for. And the part B of that is also the supply chain resilience that is required for global businesses throws up opportunity. I call it an India plus opportunity. So we have entered into creating new businesses like electronics manufacturing, like batteries, like next generation telecom technologies, 4G, 5G and beyond. And we need to make sure that we address these global opportunities in a proper way. And the next trend is safety, health, and wellness. People cannot assume that wellness and health is only relevant for particular businesses. They are relevant in every business. So a health, wellness, safety value proposition has to be well thought through from the consumer point of view, end consumer point of view, whether you are in B2B or B2C. So we will make all of these transitions. And also we will make a much more focused impact on social impact. The Tata Group, led by Tata Trust, Tata Sons, and all the operating companies, spend a significant amount of effort, resources, both human resources and financial resources, in addressing social issues to create impact globally and definitely in India. And we will scale that up, and we want to be able to make much larger impact in solving some of the biggest problems in the social environment. So I'm hopeful that we will make a bigger impact in the next 5 years. The other area we definitely want to make an impact is talent. Not only talent within the group, how can we contribute to develop skills in people at scale so that people get the skills that are required, that are relevant for the future? And how can we empower people with artificial intelligence, data, and cloud using the technology so that they are able to perform better? So those are the areas we want to work on over the next 5 years.
Well, it's a very exciting prospect, and I've been very privileged to speak to you today. It's been a great privilege. In our Global 500, the Tata brand is already 78th in the world, and India is a very fast-growing economy, with Tata right there at the forefront of Indian brands. So we're looking forward to seeing Tata at the top of the top 50 or even higher among the global brands, and for it to be recognized much more on a global basis, which I think the sports strategy will almost certainly achieve. A very inspired sports strategy, I must say. So I just want to say thank you for giving me your time, and I wish you well over the next 5 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. It was a pleasure talking with you.